The Roman Republic was an era of classical Roman civilization that begins with the overthrow of the Roman kingdom and ending in 27 BC with the establishment of the Roman Empire following the War of Actium. During this period, Rome's control expanded from the city's immediate surroundings to hegemony over the entire Mediterranean world. So this is in fact a period of tremendous growth of Rome. Roman territory on the eve of the assassination of Julius Caesar, 44 BC. You can see the extent of Rome in red. Roman society at the time was primarily a cultural mix of Latin and Etruscan societies, as well as of Sabine, Oscan, and Greek cultural elements, which is especially visible in the ancient Roman religion and its pantheon. Its political organization developed at around the same time as direct democracy in ancient Greece, with collective and annual magistracies overseen by a senate. There were annual elections, but the republican system was an elective oligarchy, not a democracy. A small number of powerful families largely monopolized the magistracies. Roman institutions underwent considerable changes throughout the Republic to adapt to the difficulties it faced, such as the creation of pro-magistraries to rule its conquered provinces and differences in the composition of the Senate. Okay, we have a lot to unpack here. So Latins, sometimes known as Latials or Latians, were an Italic tribe that included the early inhabitants of the city of Rome. Okay, so that's what Latins are. And Etruscans, the Etruscan civilization was an ancient civilization created by the Etruscans, a people who inhabited Etruria in ancient Italy, with a common language and culture, who formed a federation of city-states. So during the time that Rome was, rising to prominence, there were other tribes in Italy. Magistracies, the office or authority of a magistrate. Okay, let's keep reading. Unlike the Pax Romana of the Roman Empire, throughout the Republican era, Rome was in a state of near perpetual war. Its first enemies were its Latin and Etruscan neighbors, as well as the Gauls who sacked Rome in 387 BC. After the Gallic sack, Rome conquered the whole Italian peninsula in a century, and thus became a major power in the Mediterranean. Its greatest strategic rival was Carthage, against which it waged 3 wars. Rome defeated Carthage at the Battle of Zama in 202 BC, becoming the dominant power of the ancient Mediterranean world. It then embarked on a long series of difficult conquests, defeating Philip V, who was the king of the ancient Greek kingdom of Macedon, Perseus of Macedon, seems like another king from that area, Antiochus III, Hellenistic king of the Seleucids, so that's like the Levant area, the Lusitanian Verathus. Okay, this is in Iberia, so these are Celts, it seems, in Iberia. Numidian Jugurtha. This is in North Africa. The Pontic king Mithridates VI, so Pontic king, Kingdom of Pontus in northern Anatolia. This is Gaul. Vercingetorix, and yeah, of the Averni tribe of Gaul, and the Egyptian queen Cleopatra. So she was Ptolemaic. So we got Antiochus and Cleopatra. At home, during the conflict of orders, the patricians, the closed oligarchic elite, came into conflict with the more numerous plebs. This was resolved peacefully, with the plebs achieving political equality by the 4th century BC. The late Republic, from 133 BC, which is the 2nd century and onward, saw substantial domestic strife, often anachronistically seen as a conflict between optimates and populares, referring to conservative and reformist politicians, respectively. So, if you didn't know what anachronistic means, neither did I. Let's look it up. Anachronistically is belonging to a period other than that being portrayed. The book benefits from the effective use of anachronistic elements like cars and loudspeakers. I'm still not getting what this word means. Belonging or appropriate to an earlier period, especially as so to seem conspicuously old-fashioned. She is rebelling against the anachronistic morality. Got it. Like kind of like old school, kind of. Or yeah, having to do with different times. So let's see if we can figure out this sentence. The late Republic era saw that substantial domestic strife, often anachronistically, like maybe when we're looking at it now, perhaps, seeing as a conflict between optimates and populares. I've not heard this term before. Optimates and populares are labels applied to politicians, political groups, traditions, strategies, or ideologies. In the late Roman Republic, there is heated academic discussion as to whether Romans would have recognized an ideological content or political split in the label. So I'm still kind of lost. So it seems, conformist, conservative and reformist seems like kind of the divide in today's politics. Like we have conservatives and more kind of progressives. I don't know. I am curious though. Maybe I'll add that to the reading list. Let's keep reading. The social war between Rome and its Italian allies over citizenship and Roman hegemony in Italy greatly expanded the scope of civil violence. Mass slavery also contributed to 3 servile wars. I think that's Spartacus. I think Spartacus is in one of these wars. Tensions at home coupled with ambitions abroad led to further civil wars. The first involved Marius and Sulla. After a generation, the Republic fell into civil war. Again, in 49 BC, so in the 1st century BC, between Julius Caesar and Pompey. Despite his victory and appointment as dictator for life, Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC. Caesar's heir, Octavian, which I think is Marcus Aurelius, or not Marcus Aurelius, rather Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus, who'd become the first emperor. So Caesar's heir Octavian and lieutenant Mark Antony, working together, defeated Caesar's assassins in 42 BC, but they eventually split. Antony's defeat alongside his ally/lover Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, and the Senate's grant of extraordinary powers to Octavian as Augustus, 27 BC, which effectively made him the first Roman emperor, marked the end of the Republic. So a lot to unpack there. This is a long wiki with many different sections. Let's go through this maybe. So, historical era. So we got the overthrow of the monarchy, the Roman monarchy, in the 4th century. The 6th century BC. And then the dissolution of the Latin League. Sulla's named dictator in 82. Events quickly happen, and Octavian, who was the heir of Caesar, becomes the emperor. So in 326, it's only just 10,000 kilometers squared, very tiny. And in 50 BC, almost 2 million. Wow. Okay, that's it for this one.